channel. I'm back to break down the 6-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Excited to get into the breakdown, get you guys the top place to get you in the green and winning some money tonight. Before we do, a quick reminder that if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all NBA DFS season long breaking down these NBA DFS slates to help you guys become better NBA DFS players, help you guys win some money night in and night out. And I also do cover MLB DFS and NFL DFS. So if you're interested in any of that, and if you are getting very serious about NFL DFS, NBA DFS, any of the following, I do offer premium packages that's linked below in the description. NBA, you get access to all my projections, my core plays, my team stats, offensive half-court putback stats, defense half-court putback stats, transition stats, etc. Figure out the teams that are really struggling on defense and transition offensively who are thriving. Figure out the guys that are going to get a lot of rebounds. You get the point. Get the best plays in your lineup on top of the projections. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start getting into this video. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. Sign up today using promo code KJK DFS to receive a 100% match up to $100 when you deposit today. Prize Picks is a little bit of a different format. You can take the information we're talking about now, make some picks over there. Make sure you put in the promo code KJK DFS to let them know who sent you. And, play some of our top plays, take the overs over there and cash in. So, yeah, let's get into it, guys. Game-by-game breakdown. As always, the first game on the slate today is going to be Atlanta taking on Washington. This game right now comes in with a 222 over-under with a 2.5-point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. So, expected to be a decently paced game. Nothing too crazy here. But definitely some high usage guys that we can be putting in our lineups. First, Trae Young on the Atlanta side. Always going to be a high usage guy. Hasn't exactly had a top ceiling game yet. He's been right around 50 DraftKings points a game the last two, but we know he's capable of getting up to 60 plus, and that's really what we're looking to in this matchup against Washington. I do think this is a good matchup overall. Washington not too scary defensively. Could Trae Young reach his ceiling in this game? I absolutely think so. He's at the top there. Bradley Beal's second on the list at 9.2. On DraftKings, we've seen his usage take a little bit of a dip here with the acquisitions of Kyle Kuzma and Spencer Dinwiddie, so he's not quite getting the same usage as he was earlier. Although Washington is playing better overall as a team, he's suffering a little bit of a setback here as far as usage, which is obviously going to affect our interest in him overall in this one. And I think I'd rather go to some of his discounted teammates, specifically Spencer Dinwiddie at 7.2 at the point guard position. He's been right around 30 DraftKings points the last two games. He was able to get up all the way to 57 DraftKings points in that Indiana game. I believe that was the game Bradley Beal had to exit, though. His usage got bumped up a little bit. But regardless, Spencer Dinwiddie at 7.2 I think is a little bit of a friendlier price tag, and Kyle Kuzma at 6.2 also much friendlier price tag than those other two guys. So that's kind of the main candidates for usage on that Washington side. Daniel Gafford is listed as out in this one, though, so that's going to obviously impact the rotation here, and that's going to make Montrezl Harrell be an absolute smash play. As far as his overall price, he's still only 5.3 here, and he's seeing around 20 minutes a game or so on average. He got hurt last game, did Gafford, and Harrell stepped in 38 minutes overall. 45 DraftKings points. This guy's an absolute fantasy point per minute beast. He's going to be an obvious play in this spot, and he's a guy that I'm definitely going to be having interest in my lineups without a doubt. Not really much to think over here as far as that's concerned. That's just an absolute smash spot now that he's able to get some minutes. So that's the first thing to note. And then on the Atlanta side, there continues to be no Lou Williams. So a guy like a Danilo Gallinari at only 4.4. Working his way back here. Only 20 minutes last game, but I think that should continue to climb. He's maybe a guy that you could take advantage of put in your lineup. So, second game on the list, Detroit taking on Philadelphia. Joel Embiid listed as questionable. Ben Simmons continues to be out. Jeremiah Grant also listed as questionable, so keep an eye on that. If he's out, Kelly Olynyk likely steps in, gets a much larger role, gets the starting spot, and then Joel Embiid. If he's out, then we're looking to some Andre Drummond and Paul Reed minutes. So, keep an eye on that news. As far as this game's overall total in Vegas line, this game comes in with a 217 over-under with a 10-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. So this game not expected to be all too quick and expected to be a blowout in favor of the Sixers. They're expected to get the win pretty easily here. So just keep that in mind. If Joel Embiid's out, Tobias Harris becomes a much better play, as well as all the other 76ers starters, because they're going to get a big bump in usage. So, that would be Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry getting a big bump up, and they would be much intriguing plays. Do I think you need to play all of them? Absolutely not. It's a slow-paced game, and you probably want to pick, one of the group and figure out that they're going to have the big game to get them to that blowout and then feel happy with that in case they get pulled in the third. Or you could take the approach that this game is just not going to be a blowout and put them in your lineups, and then that could pay off for you as well. If Jeremiah Grant's out, Sadiq Bey, Kelly Olynyk, Isaiah Stewart, all going to be looking to take on bigger roles. Sadiq Bey having a great start to the season. He's a guy that was a great fantasy point producer last year, and now that he's in his second year, I could see him just continuing to thrive, and he's just absolutely killing it on a permanent basis right now. So I do think that he's an intriguing play. If they're going to stay in this game, they're going to need him. And like I said, Kelly Olynyk, if he steps into the starting role, great play on DraftKings specifically too, where you get that 3-point bonus. Always love that. Those are the guys I'd be looking to in that one. New York Knicks taking on the Chicago Bulls. This game right now comes in with a 214.5 over under 1.5 point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. Not exactly the fastest paced game once again, but on the bright side, we do have some pretty heavy dominant on ball usage guys. Kobe White's expected to be out in Chicago for this one after needing some surgery. So as far as that's concerned, I mean, Ball and Levine, of course, are just going to have to not worry about their minutes being threatened all that much. So that's something to take note of. But Levine's also listed as questionable in this one. Small ligament tear in the thumb of his non-shooting hands, and he appears to want to play through that injury. So I don't think it's too big of a deal here, but you can make an argument that maybe Levine's performance is going to be impacted a little bit, and maybe they're going to be relying on some other guys here for the stretch here until he's starting to feel a little bit better. So DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, maybe that's something to read into. Keep an eye on their usage throughout these next few games. If Levine seems a little bit shy to be shooting or something along those lines, we can certainly take advantage. And then, of course, Nikola Vucevic at 8.6, always a good play. I just think he's underpriced, honestly, for his upside. He was priced all the way up to 9K. Now he's back down to 8.6. We saw him go out there and put up 54 DraftKings points against Detroit. No issues with you going to Nikola Vucevic whatsoever. And then on the Knicks side, the usage is really spread out. Outside of Julius Randle at 9.5, who you're paying up for, I mean, it becomes a little bit difficult to determine who you're really interested in. But Julius Randle, always going to be a great play. 62, 48, 68, and 42 DraftKings points. And it's not as if we're too worried about his matchup in the front court with defense of Patrick Williams and Nikola Vucevic. I think he can still finish around the rim, get the job done. That doesn't scare me whatsoever. And then the other guys in the Knicks seems to be a little bit spread thin here. We have Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, and Kemba Walker. I have a feeling these guys are just going to take turns trading big games, and they're pretty negative correlated, meaning I wouldn't be playing them in the same lineups. Maybe two of them, definitely not the three of them. But, if one of the guys doing good, obviously the other guy's not getting those scores or those, rebounds, etc. So it doesn't make sense to be stacking them up. So just keep that in mind when you're playing those Knicks players, select an individual. So that's what I'd be looking to there in this game on the Chicago-New York side. And maybe a Patrick Williams at 3.8. But other than that, I'm not getting too excited. And then if we look at Patrick Williams' statistic overall in the season, it's not as if he's been blowing us away with fantasy production. So while he's out there quite a bit of minutes, he's not really producing that much. It's a little scary for me to be going there. Utah taking on Houston. This game comes in with a 222.5 over-under with a 9-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Utah expected to win this one fairly easily. For that reason, this could turn into a bit of a blowout, so keep your eyes on that. But overall, decently paced game. We do have Bogdanovic listed as questionable on Utah. Keep an eye on that one. Joe Ingles, Eric Pascal would be available for more minutes, but specifically Joe Ingles would become a much better play if we do find out that Bojan is going to be out in this one. So definitely keep your eye on that news. And then, of course, the other guys are going to need a slight bump up in usage as well. A guy like a Mike Conley, a Jordan Clarkson, those guys will get a slight bump up. So definitely be keeping your eyes on that news. Donovan Mitchell always going to be the on-ball heavy usage guard that can go off at any time. He really hasn't been doing much as far as fantasy, though, and he continues to be priced all the way up. And in a game where they're expected to win fairly easily, I think a case can be made to be playing him and saying that he's doing all the work to make this a blowout. But if I'm playing other guys in this team, I'd probably stay away from Mitchell. That'd be my approach for lineup construction. Christian Wood, an absolute smash play every night, it seems like. This guy's just an absolute fantasy point per minute beast. Does get a bit of a tough matchup taking on Rudy Gobert defense, but Christian Wood, a guy that's able to go out to the arc, shoot threes, and really get the job done in multiple assets. So a mobile center might be able to kind of take advantage of Rudy Gobert not being the most mobile guy in the world. Rudy Gobert always has double upside, so he's definitely a viable play in this one. 21, 20, 16 rebounds through the first three games. He's put up 45, 48, and 44 DraftKings points, so he continues to be a beast. And we have Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, and Eric Gordon. who would also be the guys that I'm looking to on Houston if this game's going to stay close. They're the main usage guys. They're the ones I really want to be putting in my lineups, and they're the ones that I would be getting the most excited about, you know. That's what I'd be going to here for sure. So that's my interest in the targets in this game. San Antonio Spurs taking on the Dallas Mavs. Kristaps Porzingis is listed as questionable in this one. If he's out, Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith are going to get 1 minute. He was unable to return to Tuesday's game against the Rockets due to lower back stiffness, so he's out a day, but I have a feeling that he's probably going to be out. Like I said, Maxi Kleber obviously going to be a much better option here. And a guy that I love playing on DraftKings, especially only 3-2. He can shoot the 3-ball very effectively, can rebound. Doesn't take very long to blow away the 3-2 price tag when you can do both of those things on DraftKings. So I definitely am interested in Maxi Kleber. And Dorian Finney-Smith could be an interesting option. I think he's more of a guy that I like to play on FanDuel for the most part. He's really good at getting blocks and steals. And on FanDuel, you get the 3 points. Last time out, he had 3 blocks. So, you know, I'm not quite as excited about him on DraftKings. But we'll get to FanDuel too in this video as well. Luka Doncic continues to be an absolute fantasy point per minute beast at 11K. As far as this game's total, it's a 221.5 over-under with a 6.5 point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. And Luka Doncic, in a game that's expected to stay close, can certainly be a viable play. Put up 58 and 60 DraftKings points the last 2 times out. Just shy of a triple-double in both of those games. So if you can get that triple-double, he gets a triple-double bonus on DraftKings. And I know he's more than capable of continuing to be an absolute beast against this San Antonio Spurs team. Definitely have interest in. The same goes for DeJounte Murray, guy that put up 71 DraftKings points last time out, a guy that's always had a lot of upside. He's been a little bit in the shadows with a guy like a Patty Mills on the San Antonio Spurs roster up until this year, and he's finally being unleashed. So DeJounte Murray, always going to be an intriguing play on the San Antonio Spurs side. And then you have Jakob Poeltl, 7-1. I had a lot more interest in Jakob Poeltl last time because he was criminally underpriced at only 5.6. Now they've priced up to 7-1. Not nearly as interesting for me. He could certainly go out there and still put up another 50-point DraftKings performance, and, you know, that would still be very good for us. But is it quite as easy to just go ahead and lock him in? Not so much. We do have Drew Eubanks all the way down at 3-3, which could be an intriguing play here on the San Antonio Spurs side as well. As far as his overall play time, though, he's only been around like 10 minutes. So that's more of a foul play, you know, foul trouble play. If Jakob Poeltl gets in foul trouble, then I could see that. But also I could see this game going pretty small, especially if Maxi Kleber is forced to play. I mean, you're dealing with a guy like a Dwight Powell and a Maxi Kleber in the front court. So Jakob Poeltl, well, 1, will have a matchup advantage, but 2, he could get run off the floor. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, Luka Doncic, DeJounte Murray on the other side, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith. Jalen Brunson, I think he'd be an interesting candidate if there's no Kristaps. He could see some more usage, ironically, even though he's at a guard position, just the guy that they need scoring from. So I think he could be an intriguing play. Same rules are going to apply for Tim Hardaway Jr. Should get a big bump up in usage if there is no Kristaps. And Doug McDermott has been listed as out for the San Antonio Spurs, meaning more playing time for Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell. So those guys continuing to see some minutes here, and both guys priced pretty reasonably here, to be honest with you. 4-7 and 4-2. I think they're both intriguing plays. I mean, both guys absolutely blew away their price tags last time out. And I think they could continue to do some damage here. So those guys, interesting plays. Last game on the slate is going to be the best game on the slate because this is by far the fastest paced game. It comes in with a 233.5 over-under with a 5.5 point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Going to be a good one. We have Stephen Curry taking on Ja Morant in this up-tempo game. Both guys very high usage guys on both of their respective teams. And I think this could be a huge, massive ceiling game for both guys. So Stephen Curry and Ja Morant want to start off with both of them. Everything flows through them. They're going to be the main candidates to really go out there and have a big game. Ja Morant just missing a triple-double last time out by 1 rebound. Stephen Curry, we know, is capable of shooting the 3-ball like a madman, and on DraftKings where you get that 3-point bonus, going to have more interest. Dillon Brooks continues to be out on the Memphis side, which is going to increase my interest in guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., D'Anthony Melton, and Desmond Bane. They should continue to see a bunch of minutes here. Jaren Jackson Jr., the only problem with him is, shocker, he's dealing with foul trouble issues. It's an issue every single year. If he's able to knock in foul trouble, he should be good. I will say, he's taking on Draymond Green, who's not really a high-usage guy, as far as a one-on-one matchup in this game. And if there's ever a time where a guy just won't be active in shooting the ball, it's Draymond Green. So maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. can actually avoid some foul trouble this time around. That'd be nice. So no issues with playing him. Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole continue to be high-usage guys, and they're priced respectively in this high-tempo game. I can see them blowing away their price tags pretty easily here. Definitely have interest in them. Same rule is going to apply for Mr. Steven Adams, who's been producing very good as well. He got in foul trouble the last 2 games, but he's been up there right around 40 DraftKings points per game, and he gets to be involved in this very high-tempo game. Otto Porter Jr. continues to be somewhat limited in his minutes, so that's just the only concern with him for me. But we do have Damian Lee and Kyle Anderson as bench options in this game as well. And really want to lock in on the star players in this one. You know, they could really excel out there, produce their most high upside game. Let's go ahead and look at FanDuel real quick before I let you guys go. I know we go over like the pace and all this stuff. I just like to point out some pricing discrepancies, and there is a little bit of a scoring difference here. So guys that get more steals, we talked about it, like a DFS maybe, a Dorian Finney-Smith. Kyle Anderson at 4.8 right off the bat stands out to me over here on FanDuel, where his price is too underpriced, and he's a guy that can get the blocks and steals, and we talked about this up-tempo game. So I think Kyle Anderson could be an intriguing option here. He's been somewhat limited in his minutes, though. I think that Desmond Bane and D'Anthony Melton really starting to take over the rotation, so just keep that in mind. You know, it's not exactly a smash play, but I just want to point that out as far as the price difference here. Then as far as anyone else, Kelly Olynyk at 5.4 will be a great play if we're dealing with those injuries for sure. Going to like him. DeMar DeRozan at 7.4. We talked about Levine and his issues with his hand, maybe somewhat hurt. I think that DeMar DeRozan is very reasonably priced over here on FanDuel, where he's been putting up right around 40 FanDuel points per game at only 7.4. I do like him quite a bit. Draymond Green at 6.4 in that up-tempo game where you get the blocks and steals on FanDuel is a great play in my book here for sure. Really the only issue with him was if he's going to be limited on his minutes. He's seen 32, 34 minutes the last 2 times out, 38 FanDuel points last time out, 3 steals, 1 block. So case in point, guy that can really get the job done with his blocks and steals on FanDuel. Going to like Draymond Green quite a bit. And then lastly, Joe Ingles. We talked about if Bogdanovich is out, Joe Ingles is going to be an absolute smash play over here on FanDuel at only 4.7. So he's a guy that I'd be having a bunch of interest in. And with all of that being said, that is my overall breakdown of this slate today. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Montrezl Harrell taking on this Atlanta squad. No more Daniel Gafford exiting with an injury last game, and that's going to lead to Harrell being underpriced across the industry in a major way. This guy is an absolute fantasy point per minute beast. The only thing that was holding him back from absolutely exploding onto the scene was minutes, and he got them in the last game. 38 minutes, put up 45 DraftKings points. Going to be able to produce on both sites. FanDuel, you get the block steal bonus. Doesn't matter. He can get the rebounds, score, all the above. Very high energy guy, which we love for our fantasy lineups. Montrezl Harrell, underpriced, has a huge ceiling. Get him in your lineups because he is my lock of the night. There you have it, guys. Montrezl Harrell, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.